It's time to unleash all of the flaming breath attacks. And go. Ah, yes. Napalm. It's beautiful. Okay, that's the entire defensive force routed.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Spiffing Brit, and today we're playing Total War Warhammer 2. An absolutely fantastic game, which guess what? Just got a brand new DLC. And that new DLC, well, it's got some unique design choices, which we're going to be exploiting for your entertainment. Now, if you've never heard of Total War Warhammer 2, you must have been living under a rock, because this is quite possibly the best Total War game ever. After, of course, Rome Total War, the best game of all time. If you've never heard of Total War Warhammer 2, then go watch the Mandalore video on it. It's about 1.5 hours of pure joy and memes, and it basically perfectly summarizes this game. This game is split into several factions, ladies and gentlemen, which I can go through basically briefly now. You've got the Elves, your classic precious boys. These are played by the kinds of people who want to have a good unit for every single situation and hate losing. Then you've got the Lizard people for when you want to just be weird. The Dark Elves for when you're feeling a little spicy. The Skaven for when you literally just want to nuclear bomb most of the map. And there's some zombie pirates, some Egyptian Necrons, a bunch of Germans, and one of whom who basically turns everything to gold, some grumpy dwarves. Then there's some orcs now, and some vampires, and some Britonians who are basically French people, and just like French people, they continuously rout in combat. But most importantly, a brand new DLC was just added to the game. A very special DLC because it's apparently revolutionized the greenskins, or the orcs in this game. Up until this point, the orcs have basically been pretty much useless. They just get thrown around in the map with no particularly magical units, getting beaten up by all of the much stronger factions. But that's all apparently changed with Grom the Paunch, the latest and greatest orc to ever exist. Luckily, the developers over at CA decided to give me a key so that I could have a whirl of the brand new DLC and see just how overpowered Grom the Paunch is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's not overpowered, he's okay. Yeah, he's just a pretty decent lord, nothing too special, but of course he has a rival, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is, it's Elfarion, the person who has to fight Grom the Paunch. He's a brand new legendary lord, and guess what? He's got bonuses to spear infantry and rangers. Oh, that's actually just terrible. Oh, but he's immune to attrition, yay! What a great feature. Yep, so this is Elfarion, he sucks, he's the brand new DLC lord, and guess what? You had to pay for him. He's garbage. You know who you didn't have to pay for? The brand new free DLC lord. This is Imrik, the greatest legendary lord I have quite possibly ever seen. He's majestic and memey, and he rides a massive bloody dragon. Unlike the peasanty boy who you had to pay for, this guy is incredible. His entire faction and game is not about defeating the greenskins, it's about recruiting dragons. He is absolutely insane and incredibly fun to play. Now, on his own, the lord isn't necessarily too special. He's got an increased campaign movement range, a slight decrease in upkeep for dragons, and so on, because they are bloody expensive. But what makes him so special is the fact that his abilities are just downright incredible. He's great fun to play. But there's one issue, ladies and gentlemen, one thing which makes elves very overpowered in this latest update, and also, of course, Imrik, who is one of these elves. You see, up until this update, whenever you recruit a lord or a hero, they have a set of traits. Now, in order to make the heroes powerful in the elven roster, they got access to some extra special bonus traits to put them on par with some of the legendary lords they'd be fighting. Now, that's great fun, that's nice, gave them a bit of a fighting chance, and we saw the appearance of the Incendiary trait. Now, Incendiary in the latest update of Warhammer 2 is actually even more powerful than it previously was. In previous builds of Warhammer 2, Incendiary gave you a charge bonus of 70, well now it gives 100, a melee attack of 10, well it still does that, and a weapon strength of plus 70%, well now it does plus 100%. Oh, and also it enables flaming attacks. Now, what existed in the previous update was that you could only get this trait if you were recruiting a hero, someone who can't lead an army but provides nice bonuses. And this is great because heroes are limited by what they can be given, and so generally heroes aren't going to be your biggest fightman, especially considering this was mostly limited to the boring ranged ones. But now all of that has changed, and you're able to pick up this trait on new lords, provided that they are wizards. So you can hire archmages, you have the Incendiary trait, oh and guess what, you can also give them the Sword of Bloody Cain. Suddenly you now have the highest weapon strength unit this game has ever seen. Sack them with a bunch of buffs and you have a unkillable lord with the strongest weapon the universe has ever run into. Oh, and guess what, they're not even a legendary lord, they're just some random chump. This game, it's broken and I love it.
So yes, the lovely boys over at Creative Assembly gave me an early access press key where they said go play the DLC, and instead I decided to go play the free DLC character who's absolutely bloody overpowered. So let's go show off what our lovely dragon boy can do today, ladies and gentlemen, because trust me, this man is absolutely stupid, and I just love him. So sit back, relax, and grab your cup of tea, and if you're feeling especially fantastic, you can even like the video, as we're going to dive into a brand new campaign with Imrik, the Lord of the Knights of Caledor. Oh, it's Warhammer time, I'm so excited. Let's go! So, welcome to our lovely campaign. This is our lovely map, and as you can see, we kind of start out down here on the bottom right. This is a pretty unique starting point, because all of the actual elves live on this donut. Yes, that's right, this magical donut of majesty where all of the elves live. Meanwhile, we were banished over here to go play with the dragons. Well, it turns out playing with dragons is pretty damn powerful because our lord is bloody incredible. Our entire gameplay strategy revolves around waiting 10 turns to get a brand new dragon encounter, defeating that dragon in a battle, and then you gain the ability to hire the dragon. It is incredible because it basically means the more of these fights you do, the more bloody powerful you get. But let's take a look at this fantastical Imrik. Imrik is majestic. His bonuses get pretty wacky pretty quickly, like for example giving fire resistance to all of the units in his own army, giving armor to everyone in his own army, giving charge bonus to cavalry. Oh wait, we're not using cavalry, we're using dragons. What's the point of cavalry? And that's right, you can make it so that dragons have an extra 10% physical resistance, they hardly lose their vigor so they'll stay fighting for longer. Oh, and you can also make all of the enemy weaker to fire. Now Imrik is not necessarily the greatest legendary lord in the game. What makes him so powerful is the army he can wield, because it's one no one else has access to. He also does stupid amounts of damage, and all of his equipment is stupidly overpowered. It all has magical abilities and it all keeps stacking on top of each other. But of course, why use Imrik for the entire game when you can just shelf him at the start and hire yourself a lovely archmage of any fire type? This here would be an incendiary archmage of death. Now certainly we don't have enough influence to hire her, but if you were able to just hire this lord as early into the game as possible, you've got a mage of death who can dish out a bunch of incredible spells and also hold their own better than most melee lords. Sure, they have no armor, but they're going to have a sword which is about as powerful as a 50 caliber sniper rifle. So whilst you've got your disorganized and bird-brained princes over here with their armor and their weapon strength of 400, you can just get yourself a lovely incendiary wizard with more weapon skills of like 500. But then what makes them so overpowered is that you can give them the custom equipment. All of this nerd stuff that Emmerich gets, well, give it to your incendiary lord instead, make them more powerful. Anyway, it's time for us to do the Emmerich campaign, and what that basically means is running into dwarven settlements and burning them to the ground. Fighting against dwarves, they're brilliant, but ultimately they're not very strong against dragons. Now, starting out the game with a dragon is just pretty damn incredible, because as you can see, it does 105 damage in an auto resolve, and so do our dragon princes. They do great. In actuality though, if you're manually controlling these fights, you're going to be getting much more than just this. Now of course, if you're a veteran player of Total War Warhammer 2, you'll know that dragons are good, but they're not necessarily the best unit in the game. Whilst they can dish out spells, they are limited. Limited by what, you might ask? Well, each dragon has a unique attack. In the case of our sun dragon here, it has a sun dragon breath attack, which causes fire explosion damage and can basically wipe out half of a unit. The only limiting factor is that it can be only used 3 times per battle, unless of course you're using the greater invocation of all, where it can now be used 6 times in each battle. But then of course, by the time you reach the end game of this game, you're no longer having Imrik leading around an army of a bunch of spearmen and archers and dragon princes. You're having Imrik leading an army of 2 sun dragons and a bunch of named legendary dragons, and they're going to be chain blasting out fiery death upon just about everything that comes their way. Imrik has basically turned the world of Warhammer 2 into a fantasy napalm experience which can be enjoyed by all the family, unless of course you're using the blood DLC, which now only costs £2.99. Oh god, how do they get away with this? I love you Warhammer, but please, it doesn't need to be like this. Now welcome ladies and gentlemen, some time has passed and some unique things are going on. As you see, some of the things which makes Emmerich's campaign so easy are that not only is he a very powerful lord, but also his army is just downright stupid. As you can see by this point, Emmerich is now riding around on his own magical dragon. He has got a stupid quantity of magical bonuses here, and his 3 dragons are stupidly overpowered too. But of course, Emmerich's massive limiting factor to, say, getting the Sword of Cain is the fact that he starts down here in the middle of nowhere, the Plain of Bones, and of course the most powerful province of all, Pig Barter. Oh, it's so beautiful and precious. It's the most powerful province in the game, by the way, if you didn't know it. But no, actually, it turns out, as soon as you get yourselves established just a little bit, you're going to get an event where you are able to annex Calador. Calador is this faction of elves which controls Vol's Anvil. Once you annex them, you can physically build Vol's Anvil, which will give you a bunch of fantastical dragon buffs. Minus 25% upkeep for all dragons, and minus 25% recruit cost for all dragons. What that actually means in practice is in Imrik's army, dragons are now 75% cheaper to upkeep. That just sounds perfect. But we're only about 48 turns into the game, and Imrik is already looking like an absolute killing machine. He's got 8,000 hit points, 120 armor, an incredible base melee attack, and a fantastic weapon strength. His battle effects are absolutely stupid as well, and he'll provide buffs to just about everything in the world. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's now turn 48, and the Empire of Imrik has expanded, to say the least. We've grabbed up all of the Noblog country, we've picked up the Plate of Bones and the Wolflands, and now all we have left is a bunch of angry dwarves sat in a bunch of castles. But what makes these dwarves so special is that they're absolutely garbage. You see, this is Imrik's army. It is technically not the best. Well, if you take out all of the overpowered dragons. These spearmen are absolute chod, the Sea Guard aren't anything necessarily to write home about, and we have a bunch of unarmored archers who can all be yeeted very quickly. And whilst these units are pretty decent, and especially when played by the right player can be very powerful, we won't actually even be using them. All of these units here, completely redundant. All we need to win this next fight and to defeat a full dwarven stack army whilst also simultaneously defeating the settlement garrison, we will only need these 4 dragons and Imrik. It's just perfectly balanced. Alright, let's go to war. And I mean, when we attack, look at the auto-resolve. Look at that auto-resolve. That's absolutely stupid. What happens if we hit auto-resolve actually? How many men did we lose? 310? I can do better than that. Oh but god, look in the auto-resolve. Imrik killed 342 men. Whew. Anyway, I'm gonna do this myself better. Because 300 casualties, that's far too many. So let's do this fight again ourselves. Now in terms of canonical lore, Imrik is downright incredible. Unlike all of the other dwarves who are effectively snooty nerds, Imrik is the only dude to actually get things done. And so consequently, he's the only elf that dragons are actually pretty chill with. And by get things done, I basically just mean convert most of the planet into effectively Vietnam. Now what we're going to be able to do is take our entire army and just simply move it back. There we go, let's just put them right at the back of the deployment zone so we don't have to worry about them. And now to do the fight using the units that actually matter. Ah, fantastic. 4 dudes riding around on dragons. It's going to be lovely. I mean, Imrik has some pretty damn incredible stats. And so when he fights these dwarves, it's going to cause a fun bit of chaos. Right, now we're going to summon Gordinar, the champion of the flame, over to the left because he is quite possibly the most flamey of the dragons. And so he has the ability to melt dwarves very effectively. At the same time, we can have Imrik summon a bunch of magical stuff because guess what? The dragons also gave him magic powers. Oh, and it's time to release some napalm. Oh, there's a big pile of men over there. Unleash the flame dragon. Oh yes, we're just gonna watch the kills rack up, okay? And that's how you go from 0 to 79 over a very short period of time. And that entire dwarf unit of dwarf warriors has almost entirely routed. God, I love them. They are brilliant. Oh wait, we're getting shot at. Beans. Right, hit them with the frosty stuff. Okay, we killed all of the siege weapons, which is lovely. We don't need to worry about those anymore. Now we can also have Imrik unleash his dragony breath. I do just love the dragon breath. It's so powerful. It's brilliant when lined up correctly. I mean, just look at how it melts units. Oh, it's so powerful. And at the same time, Imrik's also a mage, so he can just yeet down spells everywhere. Oh, and of course our flame dragon's ready to flame again, so let's flame on again, dragon. You're on 89 kills. Well, let's crank that up to 150. Oh god, the napalm. It's too much. It really is. Let's summon more magic, and we can also increase the base weapon damage of all of our dragons as well. Oh my god, this is just downright crazy. Right, Imrik, go kill those bolt throwers. Let's unleash an icy blast as well. Oh, and of course, our sun dragon over here is about to unleash a fiery blast onto the longbeards. A very powerful late game unit. Well, now they're down to half health, and they're about to rout as well. God, I just love them. They're so powerful. Oh no, we've got some quarrelers attacking us. Oh, how annoying. Flamey attack, right? Burn those. Sorry, archers. And now you can just jump on in and finish them off. All right, now the best way to fight with Imrik is to effectively just lob him into a fight, get all of the dwarves to surround him, and then drop down magic spells on yourself, because guess what? He can tank those like an absolute boss. Right, now Emmerich's in a big fight against a lot of dwarves, and he's been surrounded. He's having blasting charges lobbed at him. Such a shame that blasting charges don't do much, but now he can just summon effectively a napalm airstrike on his own position. Oh, and if he starts taking damage, well, we can just hit Armor of Calidor, immediately get rid of our ability recharge, and restore a bunch of our health, because why not? That's just fine. And there we go. The battle is an absolute glorious success. Most of the dwarves are now running away, and Emmerich has picked himself up a nice healthy quantity of kills, along with the other dragons. If you can line up the dragon breath perfectly, you can basically get 100 kills every time you use it. It is incredibly powerful and basically has no counter, because there's nothing in the game which can one-hit a dragon. These are massive super duper late game units which are very difficult to take down, and you get an absolute ton of them as Imrik right at the start of the game. And there we go, we only took 48 losses that battle instead of the 300 or so the auto-resolve gave us. And now we just occupy the Black Iron Mine and continue our legendary conquest across all of the world. Emmerich's position is pretty fun though, because technically we don't even need to fight the dwarves. We can fight whoever we like, and if that means disbanding Emmerich's army and then rebuilding it over here on the massive elven donut, then it's entirely possible, because why fight amongst the dwarves and the Skaven and the lizard men when I can just raise a massive army of dragons on the magical space donut and occupy all of it. It's basically free real estate, because we are the one elf who all elves kind of hate for just being so damn cool and having all of the dragons love them. Anyway, let's go polish up these dwarves. Ah, welcome to our empire. Now 65 turns later, those pesky dwarves are gone. We continued our expanse down over here into Lamia or wherever it is, or the Devil's Backbone, and we've basically just expanded ourselves quite nicely. In terms of important things, well, the most important thing of all is of course Imrik. His army is now slightly bigger than previously encountered. He's up to level 26 and so consequently has effectively become god. In the time since you last checked in, we have picked up a new dragon, except I decided to put it into this army over here led by Annalise, who is a character which is very important because they have the stupidly overpowered incendiary perk, meaning just look at that charge bonus. Orange is what the character would normally have, and then green is where they are actually at. I've also been able to give them the blackened staff, which is a unique item meant for Imrik, and if I really wanted I could even give her the moon-touched spear, the unique weapon which is owned by Imrik, but instead I'm going to probably be saving her for something absolutely broken like the Sword of Cain. Anyway, yes, she's completely and utterly balked, and so's our main army. It's just downright stupid. Right, welcome back ladies and gentlemen. It's now turn 91, we're one turn away from our next dragon encounter, and whilst all of this is going on, we're also attacking even more orcs and gremlins and all of those kinds of lovely people, just because we can. They occupy all of this land and it's so easy to control. Oh no, actually they've summoned an army. I have to deal with an army. Incredible. It's been ages since I fought one of those. It's mostly just been siege battle after siege battle after siege battle. Alright, let's chase him down. Now there are some great bonuses in this tech tree which we really want to try and pick up. Most importantly, awakening the ancient ones is great. It decreases the upkeep for dragon units and makes them cheaper to recruit, because recruiting them is an expensive thing to do and they are so damn powerful. But then most importantly, we want to pick up Fireborn Nature and Dragon's Bond. These bonuses are brilliant. Plus 10% weapon strength for all of them, increased melee attack for all dragons, but most importantly increased armor and melee defense. This makes them very, very terrifying. The decrease in dragon upkeep is incredible. I mean, Emmerich himself has a decrease, which basically means his sun dragon is only 225 to upkeep instead of the regular 300 or so, which it normally is. Anyway, we're gonna head off and kill the good old Crooked Moon Gits. I mean, Carrick 8 Peaks is an incredible province if I remember, so this will be a great thing to pick up. Oh, fantastic, we've got the dragon sighted. Oh, but there's an army over here, Morglum Backstabber. Oh, but I really want to finish off Morglum Backstabber. The dragon can wait, he takes 20 turns. This Orky boy, however, oh, he's much more fun. What's this? Have they just teleported away using the underway? Oh my god, they have. Right, chase them down. Thank god Imrik has a stupidly advanced movement rate. Right, no more escaping. I need to capture you soon so I can kill the Protector of Life dragon. There we go, that's more like it. Now that we've got both of our armies here, we're actually going to sit down and wait this one out for about 8 turns, because there's no rush to defeat these lizard men. We might as well starve them out a bit. Oh, fantastic. The lizard men have done exactly what I wanted them to do. They've decided to attack us, and so consequently they've left the defensiveness of their settlement, and we're going to be able to jump in and fight them. Now, in order to win this fight, I'm going to engage natural, massive high elf sneaky tactics. Sneaky tactics involve, of course, having a massive wall of spears and then lining up all of your archers behind said massive wall of spears, and then watch your enemy wave assault and slowly dwindle all of their numbers. If you want to be even more sneaky, you can also back yourself into a corner so the AI AI can't even flank you. Now, that's some mega cheese quantities of Total War Warhammer 2. And seeing as our reinforcements are coming from this corner, well, it's just what we're going to have to do, ladies and gentlemen. What a shame. We're going to have to back ourselves into the corner and cheese out the AI. I'd say this was the last thing I wanted to have happen, but no, this is brilliant. Alright, let's start this battle. So, we're going to have all of our spears, once they arrive, back themselves up into this corner. The AI is going to have to attack us though, because they declared this. So, yep, as we can see, they're starting their advance. Alright, we're very ready for this. Let's just have all of the friendlies move in, and then we can move our 2 dragons separately. But most importantly, we have 2 absolutely insane mages here, because they both have the incendiary perk. Our metal wizard especially has like a charge bonus of 160, which is just absolutely stupid. Alright, let's group up all those spearmen like an absolute pro player, and then line them up against this great big wall. Now to grab all of those archers, and once again just line them up all behind that lovely massive spear wall we've just made. Then we can also group up our dragons together to make them extra spicy, and because we currently have the mega exciting Voul's Anvil event happening in the background, our dragons now have 7 attacks, which is very good. Speaking of which, let's just send our dragon over to just spray a bit of acid over them. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? Everyone loves a good bit of acid. And spray! You go, Shacklot the Calamity. Lovely. Almost half their units gone already. Right, let's bring you out of there. You know, let's also spray some more noxious breath over these lovely bunched up groups of dudes. Oh yes. Oh yes, lovely stuff. That'll teach you for grouping up. Oh, and their lord is already dead. Okay, brilliant. He lasted a long time. He's gone. Oh god, he's gone. Alright, here they come out of the woods. Good stuff. Oh my god, just look at them. Look at them all grouped up on this one unit. This allows our fantastic dragon to come on over, and we're going to be able to bombard them with both dragons. Why not? Right, fire off the noxious breath. Away you go, my friend. Oh, you've got 51 kills so far, and just watch them add up. Lovely stuff. 127 now, and that's caused both of them to rout, and they're gone. They're out of here. They know they can't win that. My god. And then we send over the Sun Dragon to finish them off. And our Swords Masters of Hoeth, they're basically immune to all of this anyway, so they're polishing them up as well, all at the same time. Oh, this is brilliant. Alright, and now it's time to melt the skinks. Away you go, Fire Dragon. Look at them lined up perfectly for you, and burn. Oh my, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. We don't even need to use them for melee combat. We can just have them sit from above and rain down fire, and they do a great job. Oh my god, just look at the pile of dead skinks. Oh my god, all the dead lizards. They came into this fight thinking that they wouldn't be bombarded from above, but no, they're all dead now. They're all dead. And we still haven't even used up all of these. We've got 2 more poison breath attacks, 3 more flame attacks, and we haven't really lost many men. I think we've lost a couple of hundred, but that's about it. Considering we're facing a larger garrison of technically higher tier units, because these are level 1 spearmen who have never been in a battle before, and chumpy archers. Oh, we did brilliant. All right, let's just have the dragons chase them down for experience. Oh my god, this was absolutely amazing. Ah, there we go. Apparently the game thinks that was a close victory, but no, that was not a close victory at all. Ah, there we go. The close victory where the enemy lost 1,500 and we lost 289. It's fine. I'm just not gonna question it at all. All right, we're gonna steal some gold from them because I love it. And there we go. Their poor army is quite weakened now. Yep, to say the least. What I love is that basically because all of our armies have magical flaming attacks, whenever we have a rebellion from, say, these zombies over here, they are just melted in the auto-resolve because vampires very weak to flaming attacks. So the settlement garrisons gain very decisive victories, which is wonderful. And I actually can just farm this for basically free influence, which is lovely. And because Imrik managed to hit level 30, we can actually also recruit the Arcane Phoenix, which is a very powerful unit and certainly one we need to pick up. So let's get rid of, I'll say a chumpy unit of Loffer and Seaguard can be removed, and in return we can have a Mega Phoenix. Lovely. Alright, now let's go defeat this dragon. So when you attack a dragon, you basically get a couple of options. You can either spend gold and gain the dragon's bonus for 10 turns, which is all armor-piercing weapons do more damage and armor-piercing missiles do way more damage, so basically we just pierced armor. Alternatively, you can spend gold for a bunch of influence, or my personal favorite, the Ritual of War, where basically we have to fight it, kill it, and then steal its bonus, which is a permanent increase of armor and melee defense for Imrik. Oh, as well as a lovely piece of armor. Oh, and we also get the special dragon. Now, the enemy forces, I'm just gonna say, on the balance of power, it's not looking good for him. Sure, he's got a bunch of tree kin and tree people, but the thing about trees, very flammable. Very, very flammable. flammable. Such a shame we can't auto-resolve this because this is very much an unfair fight. We're just going to do our normal strategy of group up all the chumpy infantry in the corner and then have the dragons run around the map and actually do the fighting. So yeah, we're now fighting some kind of tree dragon. I'm not sure. He looks a bit funky in the top right-hand corner, I've got to be honest. Kind of like a flying crocodile, but really poorly superimposed onto a background. Alright, it's time for us to win this fight. All we need to do, defeat the dragon and his allies. Well, once again, chumpy dudes at the back. Chumpy shoot boy stands behind them. Cavalry on one side, lions on the other. Group up all of the flying boys, have them in one great big blob, and then we can put the sorcerer right back over here just to provide some assistance, which is probably very unlikely. Alright, let's start this fight. Win this fight by defeating the dragon and its allies. Well, it's got 13,000 health, this dragon, which is technically insane, but honestly, we can kind of defeat it. Imrik has some crazy bonuses now, including a heroic killing blow to basically add a plus 50% to his individual weapon strength, which already was looking pretty insane. Right, time to start setting fire to these trees. Oh, and these great eagles as well, I forgot about those. Right, Imrik, you can do your fight. We just whack on all of your bonuses, and let's have all of the dragons attack this one big dragon so that we can have it dealt with very nice and quickly. Meanwhile, whilst everyone's running around nearby, just cast a bunch of spells on them. Alright, there we go. Their great big dragon is now down to just 2,000 health. I think it's safe to say we've won this. Our dragons haven't really taken much damage just yet. Okay, and their big dragon is dead. Brilliant. Lovely. Right, we can just move our dragons back on out of here because, you know, they've basically done their job already. Alright, let's just have everyone fight that one great eagle because we can. And then we can have our phoenix stand above the enemy like so and do a ember storm. Yes, lovely. No idea what it does, but it looks pretty powerful. Oh no, his allies have appeared. Take them out. Where are his allies? I don't really think he has many, considering he's already dead. Oh no, they're coming round our side. Flanky bit. Okay, right, we're going to need to bring the men over there to get them to fight. Meanwhile, Imrik is just kind of messing about with all of the archers whilst they're, I don't know, standing there. Not really sure what he's doing. Alright, now let's get our dragons to do their magical dragon stuff, also known as just setting fire to a bunch of crap. There we go. If it flies, it can be sizzled. Ah, there we go. Glorious victory. Other than one spearman taking a bunch of hits, I think that's basically the entire fight done. Lovely victory. Ah yes, decisive. We lost 17 men. Oh no. This is the issue with some of the dragon fights. Early on, real challenge. Later on in the game, you basically just amass all of your dragons into a great big ball and then just right click where the enemy is going to be, and that's the entire fight done. And there we go, glorious fight completed. We've picked up nature's blessing as well as the brewer's instincts and the fantastic vine dragon scale armor, which we can't even equip because we've got the armor of Calidor, which is just objectively stupidly overpowered. I mean, it heals 1,000 hit points and resets all of the abilities, and all it means is you can't move for 20 seconds and it can be used 3 times. This is 3,000 extra health basically. Oh right, let's just send that armor over to one of our incendiary lords. Fantastic. Apparently I've completed all of my search for the dragon, so I've got all of the dragons now. Recruiting that final dragon. Oh, bro, the protector of life. Ah, what a lovely army we now have. Right, time to go kill those bloody annoying crooked moon monstrous gits. Now the other bonus of being from Calidor is that you pick up all of this lovely elven land, but I forgot to mention that over here in Vol's Anvil you can build the unique building of the Hall of Dragons. This naturally provides you with minus 25% upkeep for all dragon units, minus 25% recruit cost, and massive recruit rank for dragon units. What this actually means practically on paper is that our fantastic Imrik over here, who already provides minus 25% upkeep for dragons, suddenly has a unique situation where all of his dragons, provided we get all of the research down, are at about minus 80% upkeep, meaning they're cheap as chips. You can have a massive army filled with dragons and it's very affordable. Now that just doesn't sound very balanced to me. But where do elves make their money? It's not from buildings, it's from trade routes. The only downside is, starting out over here, there's no one who wants to trade with me other than these bloody dwarves. And sure, we could trade with them and make 2,139 gold per month, but we are miles away off of that. So what I now need to do, because I want to get a trade route, is I need to somehow have a port which reaches over here so I can reach the capital of all of the elves who love me. And in order to do that, I basically need to go across the Badlands here. I mean, I suppose there's a port around here somewhere with Grimgor's boys. So we're going to go have to do that, aren't we? Yeah, we've got more orcs to go fight in the Badlands with the sole aim of getting a continuous line so we can trade from our capital. Oh, these borders are going to be funky. unlucky. Oh, I need to start killing the Carax. Okay, the great Carax will now die. But hey, at least I've got a bunch of spare armies lying around now. Right, Muriel, you just eventually lead your men over here. It's going to take about 40 turns for you to get there, but when you do it, that'll be fantastic. Anyway, most importantly, Vol's Anvil is now ready to be teched up to 5 levels of pop, and then we're going to be able to grab ourselves the Hall of Dragons. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's now turn 136, and we're in a very unique situation. We managed to get our port set up, so that now means we're raking in 12,000 gold per turn, which is lovely. Anyway, I've managed to build myself up a very unique army over here for Imrik. He's now level 40, has all of his special stuff. He has a couple of silvering guards here, some archers as well to keep him happy, a couple of dragon princes, but most importantly, this. This here is a stupid quantity of special units. We have 2 star dragons, a arcane phoenix, a sun dragon, and then the 5 special dragons we picked up on the quests, which are absolutely incredible as well. And then finally the warriors of Trace. And then we can add and combine all of this with the greater invocation of Vol here to increase the armor of some of our units, add flaming attacks to everything, give us Vol's hammer, and increase the abilities of dragon breath. So let's activate that bad boy, and we have a very fun siege coming up. Now, with Imrik sat right here outside of Al-Haik, which is a fully upgraded capital of these, I don't know, peasanty boys. They're the French, but they're in the equivalent of Northern Africa at the moment. They have this fully upgraded capital with their decently sized garrison, with a paladin, some foot squires, and some peasanty boys. And they have an entire army led by Baron Fegan here, who isn't the best lord because he's leading mostly chumps, and they have no range. Anyway, it's time for us to declare war and take this place. Yes, they have a bunch of allies, but honestly, it doesn't even matter. We're strength rank 3, they're strength rank 14, but they're not going to live. Yes, we could auto-resolve this bad boy and instantly win, but I find it more fun when there's a bit of a challenge involved. So ladies and gentlemen, let's do this fight ourselves with our stupidly large army of dragons who now have an absolute metric ton of dragon breath. Oh, and also Imrik picked up a follower, meaning all of the dragons have even more armor now as well, so they're even harder to kill, which is just perfectly balanced, of course. So we have Imrik here with his ability wheel, which is just disgusting, to be honest. There's just so many things he could do. Sure, he could add melee attack to everyone on the map, increase his damage and make him a bit flammable, heal up to 3,000 hit points, increase everyone's base missile and weapon damage in a 40-meter radius, unleash a star dragon's breath onto his enemies, give himself melee defense, give himself even more base weapon damage, summon a massive ball of lightning, summon flaming meteors. You name it, he can do it. He's basically a portable wizard, but one who can fight way better than one. Oh, and speaking of our wizard, she's also flying on a massive dragon, which has the ability to use sun dragon breath. It's just stupid. Right, let me group up all of our flying boys and put them over here. And then we also need to add in our 2 heroes. And these are all of our flying units. Then we have all of our peasanty ground forces, which weren't good enough to learn how to fly. Alright, now all we need to do is get our men onto the walls as fast as possible. And the best way to do that is, of course, have the dragons fly over the walls in the first place. So let's start this battle. We've got some fun things to do. Alright, I have the perfect plan, ladies and gentlemen. Quite simply, we're going to fly behind the enemy. It's the last thing they're going to be able to counter because, well, all of their towers only face in one direction. What a poor design. Aren't you aware that your enemy could have massive flying beasts out of nightmares? Alright, and now that we've flown ourselves over the wall, it's time to ruin the defenses with the best weapons we have. Simply massive flaming fire dragon breath. And we can also summon Vol's Anvil onto the walls at any point, which can massively decimate the walls, so we're going to do that. That looks great fun. And we've got this Star Dragon, which needs to melt this person here, and this Star Dragon, which needs to melt this person here, and this Flame Dragon, which needs to melt that Men-at-Arms group, and this Poison Dragon, which needs to melt these Foot Squires, and you need to melt these people, and you can just try melt these people, I guess. What do you want to do? You're just flying around, well, just get melting. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to unleash all of the flaming breath attacks. And go. Ah, yes. Napalm. It's beautiful. Okay, that's the entire defensive force routed. That's beautiful. We don't even really have to fight them now. Alright, now we summon the enemy. What do we do with these dragons? I guess we could land them into some combat. What a splendid idea. We did Vol's Anvil and that crushed this entire gatehouse, which I didn't even notice. Oh, and poor Imrik here hasn't even had time to cast off all of his magic spells. He's got massive balls of death. He can do all of that. Cause a bunch of fear. Now he can do his dragon breath again. Alright, do your dragon breath. Come on, Imrik. We haven't got all day. They're starting to rout now. Alright, then we can do stand your ground. Drop down an increasing of base weapon damage on him. Then whack on his heroic heroic killing blow. Now his weapon strength's up to 1,300. Right, now we just land him into the enemy, I guess. All right, well, this has been perfect. The entire first layer of defenses is gone. Oh, they have a lord here. It's Baron Fegan himself. Right, send in the dragons. Send all of the dragons in. Where is he? I can't see him. Is he in there? Is he okay? Baron Fegan? Hello? Hello, are you okay in there? Are you having a fun time? Oh, there's his... Oh, he's routed. Okay, well, that's fine. He's gone now. He's gone. All right, let's have all of the dragons line up again. Because they're just lying around in their main capture point, so we might as well say hi to them. Now, the best thing is, because we destroyed all of the enemy's ranged potentials, we can actually just fly around and make sure we surround the enemies completely before we use our magical attacks. All right, let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Time to pause up and queue up these flame attacks. All right, you there, wizard lady. Dragon breath. You there, Gondor champion of the flame. Dragon breath. You there, Imrik. Once again, I need you to do another flamey boy. Protector of life. You can drop down poison attack, and then we can do a flamey attack, and then you can do a flamey attack. You can do an ice attack, and you can do a poison attack. And what are you doing? You're doing fire attack into there. Lovely. Right. We're out to the entire enemy force with some flames and fire and ice. Ah, yes. Lovely stuff. Oh, just look at them melt away. Beautiful. Well, that was a pretty easy siege, I've got to be honest. That's what a decent enemy stack looks like around this point in the game. It was certainly well positioned. They had all of the defensive structures, and, well, we didn't really take any casualties beyond the poor spear infantry, which has to exist so that I can have all of these flying boys. In fact, I didn't even really move them. They just kind of attacked of their own will. Well, that was a lovely decisive victory, I must say. 63 losses on our side, and, well, the entire enemy force is gone. Lovely stuff all round. These dragons are indeed perfectly balanced. They take basically no damage, and they dish out stupid quantities of pain. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Total War Warhammer 2. Emmerich's new campaign is great fun. I strongly recommend you check it out. The new DLC is a good laugh, and it does come with a hearty recommendation from me. As always, a massive thank you to each and every one of you watching who are, I don't know, maybe subscribed, not subscribed, you name it, whatever you are helping out this channel, so thank you very much. And especially thank you to the patrons who make these videos all the more possible. Seriously, thank you very much. Your continued support provides a nice bit of stability in my very up and down income. And hey, if you sat there and you enjoyed this video, you might want to watch another one, in which case I have these videos on screen now, which, trust me, you're gonna love. Anyway, I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Have an absolutely lovely day, and goodbye for now.